This is Jeremy with Fundamental Tennis. There's literally dozens of things we could talk about when it comes to how we can improve our two-handed backhand. There's so much information out there on YouTube and on different websites about how to improve your two-hander. And some of it may help some and some may not. A lot of what you hear are minor details or things that do not apply to you and your level of play, or they're simply not the most important thing or the primary thing that you should work on when it comes to the technique of your two-hander. So I'm going to give you the 3 fundamentals that you must have on your two-handed backhand that virtually all great two-handed backhand players have on just about every backhand that they hit. For each technical cue, I'm going to give you one simple drill so you can practice that technique. And unfortunately, not only are these 3 the fundamentals, but most people have at least 2 of these 3 fundamentals missing when executing their two-handed backhand. So let's get started and see what the 3 fundamentals are for the two-handed backhand technique. Now, the first fundamental that you must master, and this is the most important one, is preparation. When the ball comes to you, you recognize it's a backhand, you need to prepare so that you can execute the swing. If we compare preparation to baseball, let's say I'm a batter here, they're going to wait something like this before the pitch has been thrown. However, if the batter waited kind of in a tennis-ready position, and then after the pitch has been thrown, they turned, they're going to be really late. So the same thing happens in tennis. If you prepare late, you're going to hit late. And if you hit late, the ball will not go in the court. So a lot of issues with late preparation. This is incredibly common. I think it's very unnatural initially because a lot of players prepare very late. Now, what does it mean to prepare early? I'm going to use the ball bouncing on your side as a reference or visual and show you how you should look and how you should feel before that ball bounces on your side of the net. So there are 2 factors that you must have when it comes to the preparation. Before the ball bounces on your side of the net, you should be done with your hip turn and your shoulder turn. So again, before the ball bounces, you're done with your turn. Now, most of the preparation comes from turning the body. However, there is some individual movement of the hands. The hands should be done with the backswing, the backward movement of the racket, before the ball hits the ground on your side of the net. So again, I'm using that visual to compare. You should be done with your preparation before the ball bounces. So I like to use these 2 key phrases. Point your front shoulder to the ball before it hits the ground, and be done with your backswing before the ball hits the ground. So the racket is set, the body is loaded, I'm prepared. So after the bounce, instead of doing the whole backswing, forward swing, I do just the forward swing because I'm already prepared with my body and with my hands. Let me demonstrate a couple of good backhands in which I prepare early. I want you to pay attention to the ball bounce in comparison to my preparation. So this is what we want to do. You can see I almost pause in the backswing slightly. All right, so I'm going to now show you a couple examples of what I very often see. Now, number 1 is players do not turn early enough. They do maybe half the turn or most of their turn, and then after the bounce, they try to do the rest of their turn, and it just doesn't work like that. When the ball comes fast and or deep, you're going to be in big trouble if you prepare late. So notice how my chest is facing somewhat forward when the ball bounces, and then I try to turn at the last moment. As you can see, I'm actually trying to give that my best backhand, but as you can see, a big difference. It just doesn't look as good, and it isn't as good when you prepare late. So we got to hide the chest from the opponent when the ball bounces. Again, point that front shoulder to the bounce. Now, another very common flaw I see when it comes to the preparation is the player maybe will turn early, however, the hands are not set. So if you can see here, I'm going to show you in a side view. So if I'm hitting the ball this way, I'm turned, but my hands are not all the way back. Okay, so if I turn and then after the ball bounces on my side, I then bring my hands back more it's going to be difficult to not be late. It's going to be difficult to time that shot. So I'm going to show you the setting the racket late or getting the racket all the way back late as well. So maybe I turn early, but look where my hands are. And then I try to do the backswing at the last moment. Okay, too late. Okay, I turn, late. Now watch, this time is a good one. Boom, early, a lot better. So I feel like, also mentally, I feel like I have all the time in the world. So again, you must prepare early in order for the rest of the stroke execution to be successful. You have to start out well. If you start late, you're going to miss a lot of backhands. This is a very common flaw that I see, and this is the most important thing when it comes to a two-handed backhand, the preparation or the beginning of the stroke. In my experience, when working on preparation with numerous different players of all levels, they often don't have the awareness of when they are done with their preparation. Sometimes I'll say, no, you were a little late that time, and they say, really? I thought that I prepared early enough. So it's very common that players, what they feel like they're doing and what they're actually doing are two totally different things. So I want you to video yourself, especially if you can make it slow motion, and check to see the two checkpoints of preparation. Is your racket set before the bounce? Are you done with your turn before the bounce? Okay? That's really powerful, videoing yourself. Otherwise, you will often not know what your body's doing. You'll not know. You won't be sure if you have prepared early or not. So here's a video to work on your preparation, get you really disciplined and focused on your preparation, and really take ownership of your preparation. And this drill, you're simply going to say the word now the moment you have finished your preparation. Okay? Obviously, you want to say now before the ball hits the ground on your side of the net. So it's going to look something like this. Again, I simply say now the moment I'm done with my preparation, and hopefully that is before the ball bounces. Now. Okay? Now. 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 Okay? So you want to say now before the bounce, and you only say now the moment you've completed your preparation. So make sure you don't say now at a different time from when you complete the preparation. And of course, you want to say it and complete the prep before the ball bounces. So in this case, you want to video yourself in regular speed, not slow motion, so you can listen to when you say now in comparison to when you complete the preparation and in comparison to when the ball bounces on your side of the net. All right, fundamental number 2. Now that we have prepared with a full turn and the racket is set before the bounce, we're going to talk about the racket drop. This is the point where we are blending in the downward and forward swing. Okay? The racket drop simply means that the racket head is going to be below the level of your hands, right? This is the low part of low to high, and low to high is, of course, the swing path you need to create topspin. Now, topspin is the only way to swing fast and control the ball. If you hit the ball flat or you don't have a racket drop, so you swing more from when the racket head is up here as opposed to where it should be when the racket head is down, you will have to hit the ball very low over the net, somewhere in here, depending on how fast you accelerate. But with a racket drop, you can hit the ball with a ton of spin or a little bit of spin, a lot of speed or a little bit of speed. So you are simply able to control the ball and be more consistent, getting the ball in the court, and consistency is the name of the game. So I want you to notice how, again, the racket head is going to drop below the level of my hands, right? Depending on how much topspin I want to impart on the ball. Now, just a quick tip, your hands are going to typically be around your waistline, right? Before you get to the contact and the rest of the forward swing. So hands around the waistline, maybe a bit lower than that. And then the racket head, while it may start above the hands as it typically should, it's going to flip meaning the handle now becomes higher than the racket head. So check out this. I'm going to hit a couple balls. I want you to notice how my racket head drops below my hands. So I'm going to exaggerate it a bit more this time. So this is really something you see most of all on probably Rafael Nadal's backhand. It's a lot of racket head speed. Okay, you're getting that low part of low to high, right? So make sure that that racket head drops below your hands, and a lot of that is just about being relaxed. If you hold the grip tight, that racket head is going to stay up. In fact, $1 million tip is the more top spin you want, or the more racket head drop you want, the more you're going to relax your hands or loosen the grip tension of your hands. So watch one more time. I'll show you in slow-mo here. The racket head drops below the hands, right? Depending on how much spin you want to put on the ball, you could drop it a bit below the hands or a lot more below the hands. The racket drop is fundamental number 2. Now let's talk about the drill we can do to work on that racket drop. Here is a simple exercise to help you work on the all-important racket drop. You want to be near the depth of the service line or even closer to the net than that. I'm going to demonstrate from near the baseline. However, again, I want you close to the net. You're going to have a partner underhand toss you the ball right to you so that you don't have to move your feet. You could also maybe use a ball machine or the wall, or you could toss the ball up for yourself. So you're going to start every time with the bottom of the frame of your racket touching the back leg, which is going to be your left leg as a righty. Again, bottom edge of the racket touches the calf area of your back leg. And you want to have the racket touching your leg by bending the knees rather than bending just the back to get it to touch the leg. So I'm going to demonstrate here. This exercise is just going to get you a feel for dropping that racket head and get you out of the habit of keeping that racket head up at the level of your hands. Again, we want that racket head to drop below the level of the hands. So check this out here. I start here, and then I just swing up and forward from this position, okay? Frame against the calf, up and forward. Again, you want to be in a stationary position. Ideally, you have a ball machine or somebody there to toss you the ball, okay? So I'll demonstrate 2 more without the ball. Frame touching the calf area of your back leg. Let me bend my knees so I can show a good example. And from here, you're going to swing up and forward. So we're getting rid of this high back swing or taking it back behind the back. We're swinging straight up and forward from the calf position. The last massive fundamental is extension of the hands and arms to the target during and after contact. Many players will make contact and then very quickly after contact, they go straight to the follow-through. After contact and before the follow-through, there should be a lot of extension of the arms out and up to the target. This is huge because this will help you possibly with your preparation and certainly give you more power control, especially directional control. And this, I find, helps with players overall with the timing and execution of the stroke. So I want you to notice how I extend out and up after contact. I'm swinging out to the target as opposed to making contact and then quickly coming across into the right shoulder or the dominant shoulder for the follow-through. So watch here. I'm going to hit a couple balls. I'm going to swing slowly. Look at my arms. You notice how much extension I have. This reminds me of Novak Djokovic, Serena Williams. They have great extension. All the best two-handers in the world, right? So after contact is not the follow-through. After contact should be the extension. That's going to help you in a lot of ways. Real quick before we get into the drill to help you improve your extension of your backhand, I thought it'd be a good idea for you to see what it looks like a player whom doesn't have good extension of the hands. So notice how after contact my arms do not extend out to the target, all right? I'll show you one more time. Watch my arms. They're very crammed. This, by the way, this extension exercise practicing this can really help you with your spacing and not running into the ball and getting jammed at contact. So the drill is very simple. You're going to not follow through. We're going to isolate the extension of the arms on the finish, and you're simply going to finish with both arms straight, hands at about eye level, and the hands are going to be to the right edge of your body if you are right-handed. So take a look from a side view first. After contact, I finish with the arms straight, and I'd love for you to hold the finish, check the finish, okay? So once again, both arms straight on the finish, hands are going to be at about eye level, and the hands should be on the dominant edge of your body as opposed to towards your nose. Let me show you from a front view so you get a good visual this way. You get good extension, and then I do not follow through. I finish with the arms straight, hands at eye level, and the hands on the right edge of your body as a righty. So this extension will help you with numerous things, and it's really going to help you improve your control and power. Review of the 3 most important things to improve your two-handed backhand. Number 1, we must be prepared before the ball bounces, so the racket is set and the turn is done before the bounce. Number 2, the racket drop. Your racket head should drop below the level of your hands prior to making contact with the ball. Now, the last one is the extension. The hand should not be close to the body after contact. The hand should go out and up as far away from the body as possible prior to following through. Now, quick note, it's important that you're using a continental grip with your bottom hand. So your right hand, if you're a righty, should be in a continental grip. Otherwise, the extension could be quite difficult if you don't have the foundation of a good grip. So if you want to improve your backhand, you want to follow these 3 fundamentals. If you don't want to improve your backhand, then I would not do the things that you saw in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, this is Jeremy with Fundamental Tennis. Please like, subscribe, and give me a comment. Let me know what topic you want me to talk about in the future. I would love to hear from you guys. And again, Jeremy with Fundamental Tennis. I will see you next time.